there was a lot of positives, I think, to take away from the first game. I was really pleased in the way that DJ was able to operate out there, converted on some third downs for us, made some good checks in the run game, and then was pretty efficient with the football. The no turnovers thing, that was something that I think always comes up in the first game, is taking care of the football, and I thought we, for the most part, made good decisions at the QB spot, and then we're able to take care of it, not putting the defense in any bad situations from that standpoint. And then I think that looking at the pre-snap penalties, I think we had 3, a couple false starts and a delay a game, which we got to address that and get that stuff cleaned up. But a lot of good things, and I was pleased with the way we were able to kind of get the run game going, keep them off balance with the pass game, and have a good mix. And I thought the guys did a pretty good job of executing. I just think coming back, there's a ton of stuff on the film that we can learn and improve from. A lot of technique things, just small things that I think, moving forward, will put us in a bad position if we're not able to get them cleaned up. But it was good. We really challenged our guys this week to come back and go to work and clean those details up.
What's one thing that's not so obvious that caught your eye about DJ?
I kind of liked how he was composed out there. I just felt like he was, even if it was a negative play or a poor decision or a missed throw, that he was able to clear that play out and move on to the next. And it just seemed like he was kind of in control of what we were doing. It was just taking it kind of one step at a time and doing the things that he's coached to do. And then there was a couple things where he made adjustments in protection that protected him versus a couple pressures, and he was able to hit some passes, and we'd been really challenging him on that since he's got here, and it was good to see him take that from the classroom and transition on the field, and I was able to hit a couple big plays because of it.
What most impressed you about the receiver group?
I think that the attention to detail with the route running, I thought from the first group was pretty good with Silas, Ant, Josiah. When we went their way, those guys, made plays on the ball, and then I was pretty pleased with some of the. It was nice to get some of the younger guys in there. Jeremiah Noga got a touchdown, and Zach Card, some of those guys, to get him in there and get him some playing experience. And I think those guys have a lot of things to learn, but. Just to hopefully continue to build depth at that spot.
When you watch that play that Noga caught the touchdown, I'm assuming you watched it a few times. How did that develop? With him getting open? Because at one point it looked like maybe the ball was going to Anthony, but way over his head.
That was definitely not the design. That guy. In all the years I've called that play, I don't know that that guy's ever gotten the ball. But there was just drop 8 coverage. Our offensive line did a heck of a job protecting, gave DJ time, and DJ just trusted the protection and kind of hung in there. And then the receivers that Noga just did a good job of continuing to work and go and find open space. It was kind of almost a scramble drill without the quarterback scrambling versus a 3-man rush, and ended up working out good.
Obviously, you have 3 really quality options. So what went into the decision to have Aiden Childs be the first quarterback off the bench in that one?
Aiden's put together a great spring, and then in fall camp, just kept improving, and he's done a lot of good things. I think he's, to me, it was the playmaking, in the scrimmages, and just as he continued to go through practice, that just kept coming, and we wanted to get him some experience. We still feel really good with Ben. If we need to call his number with it. I mean, we have a lot of trust in Ben and his knowledge of the offense and his experience. But ultimately, felt like Aiden, man, he's been coming on. He's been really improving, and we wanted to try to get him some game experience, see how he'd handle it.
What did you think of the drive that he led?
I was pretty impressed, man. He didn't. We called a couple throws in there with him. The first one, he had a movement, went out, and it wasn't necessarily super clean. Set his feet and ripped it, and that was just all the stuff that we've seen in practice. It was cool to see him just go out there. You never know guys in their first taste of game action how it's going to be, but man, it was like he was on the practice field and just out there having fun and operating our system, and it was cool to see him put a touchdown drive together.
Is that the ideal amount you wanted to see DJ run in a given game?
I think it'll be week to week. I think it's I think he's definitely capable of it, and that was, I guess, probably that, in that number, in that range of not so much that he's going to get beat up, but enough to keep the defense honest.
The running game, really good yards per carry for Martinez, but did you feel like the run game was anything to still improve? Anything that you're looking at?
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff on the tape, 100%, that we went back and some missed opportunities, a lot of technique things, some miss ID stuff, and that was, I mean, not just the run game, pass game, protection, the whole thing. There was a lot of things I felt like that were small things that'll catch up to us down the line that we got to get cleaned up, and that has been our big challenge this week. Is there was a lot of great things on that film from our guys to learn from and hopefully improve, and you'll see a big jump, taking the next step there this week.
How did you feel like go ahead.
Oh.
Defensively, what does UC Davis do maybe a little differently than what we saw in week 1?
Not to say this didn't take anything away from San Jose. I think UC Davis extremely sound in the way that they operate their system, and the guys are well coached. Like you can tell they understand their system. They're in the right spot. They're not busting a lot of things, and I think they've got a fairly veteran group. Pretty good size up front. I really like the linebackers that they've got. I feel like those guys, athletic guys that I feel like would be play in the Pac-12, the guys we might see in the Pac-12. So I think it's gonna be a week for us where we better be on top of our game. I just feel like they're one of the better defenses in the Big Sky, and have been really impressed with them on film.
How did you feel like the offensive line graded out for the first game?
There was some good things, and I know Coach Mahalchek's pretty hard on those guys and trying to get them all right. But I think there's a lot of things technique-wise that you really stress and have been trying to get across in the practice field, and not all of it got through the game. Sometimes guys would revert back to some old habits that they had when you get out there in live action, and I think that was more than anything the technique was stuff that we got to get cleaned up. But man, I really like the way that they came off the ball. They played physical, aggressive, and they did a pretty good job, to my mind, in pass protection.
On Saturday, will you allow yourself a few moments to look around Reeser and just kind of take it in, just being first game in the new building?
Yeah, I'm excited. We've been looking out the window for the last year and a half or whatnot, and seeing it all being built, and a lot better than being in the trailer last year there. But yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty good crowd on Saturday. Yeah, I'm excited.
You've taken a couple dry runs up in the press box. How is that for calling games up there? Is it better than most, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's one of the better ones in the Pac-12 for sure. Good space, air conditioned, good view of the game. Bathroom's not too far, so
that's the most important.
Yeah. No, it's a big time facility, and I know our players are really excited to go.
Only 4 possessions in the first half. What are your views on the clock changes?
It was like that. It'll be interesting to see just if it was kind of one game, or I'm just want to give it a little bit more of a sample size. But we'd love more possessions, and some of that was San Jose was able to kind of put some things together on offense. I give those guys some credit, and they moved the ball a little bit. But we'd love more than 4, and if it continues that way, then we might have to mix in a little bit more tempo, a little bit more pace to the offense.